We're all doing pretty good today. Hopefully you guys are doing all right. Um, I know I'm doing pretty good. I just got some few updates for you guys. I know last time that we were talking, we were in the midst of a few things. And I want to go ahead and give you an update on, where I'm at, give you update on my portfolio as of November 14th, 2025, and see how I'm doing from now on or so. So we can go ahead and we can jump right into it. We can first start at looking at the stock right now, how we're doing, how the portfolio is doing. And then we'll go ahead and jump into talking a little bit more about the shutdown, and then I'll have more update for you on the stock that we're investing right now. So let's go ahead and take a look at the stock at this current moment. It's up 0.11% if we're on live for the day. We're up 2.11%, which is pretty good. And that's $85.38. For the week, I'm only going back to around 3 months or so because this when the new strategy actually started kicking in or whatnot. But for the week, we're up 0.65%, which is $26.75. And then for the month, we are up. I am up. No, yeah, we are up. I am up 2.5%, 2.15%. And that's $87.71. And then, 3 months when we started the strategy, let's see how much we're up now. So right now for the 3 month ever since we started strategy, I am up. The portfolio is up, 25.48%, at this current moment. I'm expecting that to go up, because I can go jumping right into it. So, I invested even more of my money into Stitch Fix. Last time, as you saw, that I had about $2,000 in purchasing power, and only was halfway invested into it. But now all my funds are, at least my investment funds, are invested into Stitch Fix. And I think it's a pretty good investment. It's gonna go up. My prediction right now, I want, so this is on record. November 14th, 2025, I predict that Stitch Fix, again, shares will go up to around 450, 460, but mid five, no, I'm sorry, mid five, so five, 550, four, no, 540 or around there. But I also think, because I want to see if the stock will go up like it typically does, when there is when they have their financial results posted, or if it's going to stay the same. So during that time, I'll be going ahead and I'll be recording it. So that'll be the next time I'll publish it. So the next time you see another video will be after their earnings call drop. But I do predict that the stock will go up. It's because they did post and they have their earnings, financials coming up on the 4th of December. Let's just say, what, 3 weeks, just about. So a month, let's say, so next month, basically beginning next month, because we're basically almost done with this month. That they will go ahead and post their financials. It's on Thursday on markets close, and then they're going to have their earnings call on at 5 o'clock. So I'll be joining their earnings call as well. I'll try to go ahead and answer a few questions, or try to ask a few questions, while I'm there. But with that being said, um, I'll mainly be just listening in. I won't necessarily ask any questions. I'll be listening in, and just kind of see how we do from there. So let's go ahead and take a better look, a deeper dive into Stitch Fix stock, at this current moment. Let's see. because we'll go ahead and start transitioning into kind of what happened to the stock, especially during the government shutdown. How was it impacted, and where were my predictions right? So for the day, the stock is up 2.22, 2.22%. And that's 10 cents, which is just decent. But as you can see, it's been going up and down like for the whole past month. This past month has just been going up, and then so I see it as I'll give you better, but let's go back to 3 months. So that's when their last earnings calls was. But I think how the stock reacted, how the market reacted to the government shutdown was just a lot of uncertainty. But it wasn't uncertainty in terms of widespread financial catastrophe, like potential catastrophe. I can't even say that word, catastrophe. Cata but I don't think it had like like an outreach, a big outreach on how dramatically it can impact how the financials look within the companies, within the company. So which I'm still kind of interested in. I'll still do a little more research even outside of this, just try to get a better understanding of. I'm not sure if like some of the airlines when they're going to go ahead and submit their earnings or whatnot, because I want to see how this impacted their financials. Because sometimes it might not impact them immediately, but then you can see that impacted their financials the quarter of that they report. So maybe they just haven't got a chance to report it and then I have to wait because I think it's pretty interesting because it's kind of something similar to what happened during the CrowdStrike outage. I'm not sure if you guys are all familiar with that, but that was when all of basically the flights got delayed. Nobody could register because there was some people say hack, some people not saying hack. But the government doesn't want you to believe that they got hacked. They're not gonna tell you that they got hacked or anything like that because they were able to go ahead and shut everything down using a I think it's an update and I'm not too sure about the specifics, but that shut the whole entire airport down for about close to about a week or just about. But this impacted in terms of the workers, not necessarily registering, but the workers working there. And I just saw that they're giving out. I think it was a Christy Nome. I'm not too sure. She was giving out $10,000 checks to the people that stay at the FFA or FAA, I believe so. And that's pretty interesting because they have low staff. What is like? I'm just trying to understand to better get a better correlation of like the the FAA and the Delta or like all the other airlines. I'm sure they work close together because they're the main, they're the industry players within those, like Delta, American Airlines, Spirit, Frontier. Those are the major airlines within the airport, the aviation. So I wonder how do they work with one another and how is that relationship like impacted or affected? I think if out of everything, businesses and stuff like that, the government shutdown typically. Um, the people that I would assume the business that I would assume that would get the most, that get dramatically impacted would be uh the airline, the aviation industry. But again, it can also be positive because like I said, they can also just increase the price because demand is so high and the supply is limited, so they can just increase the price for the seat. So instead of, let's say for example, you have like a simple Boeing let's say 322. I'm not even too sure of what kind of Boeing airplane it is, but let's just say there's like a regular Boeing, plane that you take, like a commercial one. Like let's say you're going from let's say you're going from New York all the way to Texas and you're taking like a Boeing plane that houses it looks like around maybe like around a hundred, no, 100 close to, at least I'm estimating 120, maybe just about, or maybe less, or around there, 80, 85, roughly around there, but just a regular size commercial Boeing plane. So instead of tickets costing $500 for like a round trip, whatever it is, they can increase that, and say tickets are going for $1,000, and then, but again, they're going to charge you more for the same seats because the supply is limited, but the demand is high. So they're making more money because their expenses are not necessarily increasing, they're just charging more. So that's how I can see it positively impacting the aviation industry. Just being able to charge customers more and get away with it. I think that that's pretty interesting. But let's go ahead and take a better look at it. So Stitch Fix didn't necessarily get impacted dramatically, at least, compared to tariffs, to the government shutdown. As you can see, the stock actually rose up to, $4.66, which is pretty good. And then it tanked again. I see this more as of uncertainty than anything. I don't think it did go below $4. It was like around $3.99 or $3 and like 97 cents, but it didn't hover around the $3 mark, which was something that I wanted it to happen, which I want to happen. It did touch the $3 mark, but it was a high three, low four. In terms of stock per price. And that's unfortunate. I didn't really get where I wanted to be in terms of my average cost. As you can see, I my average cost is $4.27. I wanted to get that again lower to like a low three, a mid three, or at best a high three, but I got a low fours, which is okay, which is not terrible. I'm not saying this is like a terrible thing, but I could have gained more returns. But the thing is, the interesting part is when the stock dipped below $3 per share, it was during after hour trading. So again, I have to do a little more research on after hour trading. Like I tested it out recently with like another stock to make sure that I can actually buy shares. And after hour you can is limit shares, but I want to do more testing on it. I want to go ahead and find a company that's the stock isn't relatively expensive, probably like a couple dollars. I want to buy maybe let's say like 50 shares. No, not even 50. I'm just testing it out, so probably like four shares. And then I want to go ahead and find a company that's earnings calls. Their earnings are about to drop coming up. Then I want to see if I can still sell while their earnings are happening, because that's what I plan on doing with Stitch Fix. And if I get it wrong and I have to wait the next day, after hour trading is gonna hurt you, because after hour trading, that's when the markets shift dramatically. That's why it's volatile during after hour tradings. People say it's volatile during after hour tradings, because that's where the real investors, that's where real money is at, is the after hour trading. At least from my understanding of it, that's when stock price gets uh let's say manip quote unquote manipulated, if you want to make sure. But I believe that there's bigger players, investors invested in this that have more money than me invested. So if they sell a lot of shares, that tanks the market. But again, this is the strategy I'm trying to see. This is still kind of, still raw. Nothing is really very perfect, but this is what I've got so far, and I'm basing it on actual facts and data. Over time, obviously, I will get more experience and have a better understanding of it all. But at this moment, that's just the best of my knowledge, and I'll have to continue to update you guys moving forward. But as you can see, go ahead and give you guys a quick recap. I have around 4,000, $4,130 invested. That isn't in terms of investing wise, that's not a lot, but it's this is pretty good kind of, startup funds just to kind of, get you on your feet in a way. Because like I told you, the goal is to get to 100,000. And I think that's gonna be pretty interesting. It will have to see. I want to at least get to 50 by next year, or earlier than that. But it all depends on some factors, of course. But I want to get to 50 within that year, and then but then once I have more money invested, it'll be easier for me to gain. So that's more of an exponential growth. Than anything. You're gonna start off, with because again, yeah, I'm going by percentages. Let's say I have $40,000 invested, but my stock goes up 40% or 50%. That's 20, that's 20,000 right there that I just made within one quarter. But since I'm going off of percentages, that's 40% of whatever I got invested. So the more money I have, the more I make in terms of percentage wise. I don't really like to talk about dollar amount wise because then certain people at least start getting lost and confused. And when you're dealing with more money as well, once you start touching like millions of dollars or $100,000 or something like that, um I still plan on having the same kind of execution strategy. I try not to let the numbers be too distracting for me. Like if I know, like if I'm for sure this is what the stock is going to do, and I'm very, convinced on it based off of my past experience, based off of the numbers, based off of just what everything's telling me, based off of the customers, based off of just a lot of different things. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind putting, a few hundred, thousand, maybe buying a few hundred shares, man, maybe buying a few 100,000 shares. I wouldn't mind doing it. Maybe buying a million shares. I wouldn't mind doing that. So this strategy, you can make more money in terms of percentage wise. Like I told you, because I'm beating most people's 401k earnings right now as we speak. And I think that's a pretty good thing. So, but yeah. So today, like I told you, it kind of went up and up and down. But today, the stock went up 1.52%. That's my returns, at least today's returns. And that's how much I gained today. I gained 1.564%. Well, no, not back. No, this is going up and down. But that's why I don't do day trading. But that's how much I gained for the day, and for total, I gained 1.60%, which isn't, you know, I don't think it's terrible. I could have been at a better spot. We can whine and cry about my average cost being lower, but sometimes you hit around the mark. Sometimes you're close enough, and I think, being close enough is better than missing. So I have close to 1,000 shares, 948. As it's reflected in it, obviously makes kind of sense. But I have I'm like 50 shares shy, close to 50, 51, 51.49. But let's just keep it like that. That's how much shares I'm shy. I'm at this moment from getting 1,000 shares, which I plan on. I don't know if I'll buy any more shares because I'm expecting the stock to go higher. And I'll tell you why. But um, but yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at right now, and I'm not like I'm not the happiest person in the world, but I'm not sad about it. It's a okay. It's a shoulder shrug. Probably my return won't be as big, if my share like if my average cost was down to like $3, but since it's at $4, because maybe it's go up $2, so close to. Yeah, I'll still get around like 40% if everything goes, but I know 25% for sure. Or 20%, 25% for sure. I'll get that. But going for that 40 and 50%, that'll that'll determine on a few things and if I execute it right. But we'll see. We'll see. I'll keep y'all updated. But 20% for sure, I'll be gaining within this quarter. Again, that's still beating, majority's people's 401k returns. That's by For some people, that's a great year for 'em, like we talked about before, but that's still pretty good and we're right on track to do so. But with that being said, let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about the government shutdown and like what happened, just get a better understanding of what's going on and everything like that.
Just wanted to come out and say that we believe the long national nightmare will be over tonight. It was completely and utterly foolish and pointless in the end, as we said all along. I just want to apologize to any Americans who are out there who still have flight cancellations or delays today. I want to apologize to the many American families who were made to go hungry over the last several weeks, our troops and other federal employees who are wondering where their next paycheck would come from. We're sorry that it took this long. So Republicans are going to deliver for the people. Our message to the American people is no matter what happens on the floor later on today, our promise to you remains the same. House Democrats will continue the fight to address the Republican health care crisis, and House Democrats will fight to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits. This fight is not over. We're just getting started.
Well, there you have it. That was the Republican House, the Republican and the Democrat House leaders. Um, I know Hakeem Jeffries was, and then Mike Johnson as well. They were just talking a little bit more about it. I think it's pretty interesting. I think the Democrats didn't get what they were looking for out of this. Because they don't necessarily got a guarantee. It's a vote, but that doesn't mean it's gonna pass. But let's just continue. Just looking at it, there's just a few videos that I want you to watch real quick about the government shutdown and or whatnot. So this is of the President Donald Trump signing a bill to end the government shutdown. Just take a look at it real quick.
And it's an honor now to sign this incredible bill and get our country working again. Thank you.
Well, there you have it. That was the longest government. That was, by the way, that was President Donald Trump speaking there. He just signed that bill right in front of us. And he has some more than his just cabinet, but there's some people there in suits that look sharp, nice. I see the Speaker House. I'm not sure if I see Pete Hegseth. What was and we have some other members there that I'm assuming that are important to the Republican Party, and his close allies or whatnot. But that that just made history. We lived through at least this current time, lived through the longest government shutdown history in the history of the United States. The longest it's ever gone. I witnessed it. I witnessed it. I saw it all happen, and it lasted too long. That's how it lasted. And it just impacted a lot of people. And this fasted 43 days. 43 more than a month. 43 days. This is how long it's been going on for. And it was just, back and forth, pushing because of the different things that were like impacted like national parks, forest landmarks, and like properties managed by the federal government. Will also be open to the public and the staff will return to normal duty hours and everything like that. The SNAP benefits, a lot of people, also known as food stamps, they'll be back to around 42 million people that are on stamps or food stamps. And then HIPAA heating subsidy program. Da, 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 da. And then the most important part, which I'm still going to go ahead and take a look at some of the stocks, is the airports will return back to our normal operating hours, but it could take some time, so it won't be immediately. So I'm seeing. I wonder if it'll be back together in one before Thanksgiving, and that is the 27th. I want to see if it gets back by then. We'll see. But yeah, so that is the latest on the government shutdown. Everything is done, over, taken care of. Hopefully, I think it's extended until January. I think they have another vote or whatnot, but I'm not 100% sure about it. I'll definitely be keeping tabs on it. But I don't think it'll have as much of an impact. So my likelihood is it's adjusted. So if there is another government shutdown, I'm less likely to react. I'm gonna react, but it won't be just different. There are different levels of reaction based off of my markets and based off my portfolio or whatnot. I won't overestimate, and I'll have a better understanding of how to price and how to go ahead and approach it. So that's pretty good. With that, I want to go ahead and show you. Um, Before we wrap it up, I want to go ahead and talk a little bit more about the press release. So Stitch Fix announced, I know I mentioned it earlier on the video, but this is me actually showing it to you. They published this yesterday. They published this yesterday. Let me see. Does it give it the time? Mm-mm. All right. So let's go ahead and read it. This is exciting news. This is big news. This is great news, actually. So let's just jump into it. So it's the leading online personal serving stylist today announced they will release financial results for its first quarter physical year 2026 ended November 1st, 2025 after markets closed on Thursday, December 4th, 2025. Okay. Following this, Stitch Fix will hold a conference call at 2 p.m. PT or 5 o'clock PT Eastern Time. So the Pacific Time Eastern Time to discuss its financial results and outlook. The call will be hosted by Matt Baer, CEO, and David Afterhart, CFO. All right, so that's pretty good stuff. Um, and I'm excited about it. I will be sh- recording when this happens so I can show this. At least I'm gonna try my best to record it during that time. But if not, then I'll go ahead and I'll start making. I'll make my moves that I typically do within the portfolio, and then I'll just update you guys. Then. But I'll try to do a live so you can actually see me doing it, so it's just better. But if I'm not able to do it, I just give you guys a bit of an overview. But the next time we'll be talking, most likely it will be if not everything, something dramatic has to happen with the portfolio. So it'll be during close to maybe December 1st, December 4th, or maybe December 5th. Or maybe within that week I'll get the video published. I'm not too sure, but that'll be the next time you'll be hopefully hearing from me, because again, this channel is mainly for my portfolio and anything that impacts my portfolio. Of course, my portfolio is going to change over time as times do change. But I am looking at I'm eyeing a few things and stuff like that, but this is what is just to kind of keep me on track and just to get a better understanding of, and other people as well, if they want to see my strategy, and just kind of take a look at it, and especially people that are very new to investing and they don't really know how to invest as much, can just kind of take a look of it, and maybe spark someone's interest or whatnot. But this is mainly just to give an overview of my portfolio, and hopefully you guys continue watching and help me get to my goal, which is $100,000. And if you have any, comments, questions, or anything like that, like in the definitely put them in the description in the comment section. And then if you're not a subscriber yet, go ahead and then subscribe to me. I'm trying to go ahead and build the YouTube thing of kind of get a little bit of a presence going on here. And like I said, like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you next time. Take care. Bye.